Peggy 18.
It was very important to us that we started with a storyboard so that we had an idea, a real basic idea of how we were going to lay the scenes out, what our shots were going to be, how long they might be.
Susan, what are you doing? We gotta get out of here.
I'm tired of watching my son die.
Susan, we gotta go.
Then we actually take it and the animators will put on our own mocap suit. We'll go out into the parking lot and we'll shoot a version of it ourselves. We'll put that together on temp rigs with temp sets and stuff, and we'll get a good idea of how the scene's going to look.
And that really gave us the backbone for what we could do when we were going to take the final step into going and shooting the real motion capture with our actors.
We set up in the optical stage, and we'll play that back, and we'll kind of walk through to show the actors how the cameras are going to work, what the world looks like.
We were shooting the majority of our cinematics at Sony San Diego. We spent a lot of our time in their performance volume, which is a much more concentrated area. It's only about 10 by 10, but it's surrounded by cameras. There's, I think, over 100 cameras. This is the volume that we would use for the full performance data.
In R2 and R1, we did traditional mocap, which was just the body separately from the face. And then what we'd do after that is we'd go into the voiceover booth with the actors, and they would have to essentially sync to what was recorded on the mocap stage. Resistance 3 was different in that we did full performance capture. So they'd have the regular mocap suit on with the markers, and then they'd also get their faces marked up with all kinds of little dots. And then they would also get mic'd up, which was something that we hadn't done before.
Susan, what are you doing? We gotta get out of here.
I'm tired of watching my son die.
Susie, we gotta go.
So essentially what we were capturing was like a stage performance. It was great because the actors were able to work off of each other real time, which is something in the past that we weren't able to do because we would play them the reference from the other actor, but they wouldn't be able to really, kind of feel those emotions and react.
Susan, what are you doing? We gotta get out of here.
I am tired of watching my son die.
Susie, we gotta go. Susan, what are you doing? We gotta get out of here.
I am tired of watching my son die.
Susie, we gotta go.
On the stunt side, what you have is being able to set up the shots, making sure that the stunt is as safe as possible for the guy who's performing it, and also to get that believability across when a guy is falling out of a VTOL. What's that going to feel like? We were working with the data that wasn't full performance. We were able to move into Sony's larger volume. So it's a much, much larger volume. You can carry out a lot more large actions. They also have real time where we can see our sets on screen as our actors are performing in that volume.
We get real-time data, so the actors who are out on the mocap stage in the middle of all those cameras, whenever they move, they can see themselves up there moving.
The first thing that we do is we have to block out exactly where each character is going to stand, how high everything is, if a chair is the right height, if a railing is a certain height in the game, then the railing has to be that height in the volume, so that if a character falls off that railing, we make sure that he's falling from the railing to the floor.
Today we're using it for the most complicated stunt shot we've done so far on Resistance 3. We've got a couple of awesome stuntmen here today. They're going to help us get Capelli through that experience. He's going to tumble out of the VTOL and have to hang from it while Charlie is desperately trying to help him get back in.
And this rope is going to go up over the bar where supposedly I'm going to be hanging from. And some guys are going to be holding it on the other side, so I'll jump out, and when I drop, I won't actually have to use the strength of my hand. I'll be rigged in.
And action! 10! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Grab the hand! Ah! cut.
The height that he is actually falling from in the game is way too high for the volume. It's bigger than the top cameras. So what we needed to do is we'll shoot that in different chunks. We shot that as a separate take, and then what we did is, to get the action of him falling, we actually hoisted him all the way up to the ceiling, all the way up to the ceiling of the interior space, and we had him drop onto some crash pads.
Action. All right. You drop when you're ready. And cut.
Once we get all these different pieces all shot, then we put it all together, and that's what ultimately becomes the scene that you're going to see in the game.
Grab my hand!
They're coming back around! We're sitting ducks here, Charlie! My family!
I'll find them! I promise! Ellis! Get us out of here!
Being there on the set, there was so much preparation and safety to make sure that, you know, they wouldn't get hurt. And now when you just see a small clip of a guy, you know, falling, you know, a few feet onto a mat, you're like, wow, that doesn't look that bad. But, you know, we needed to make sure that the guys were safe when they were doing this, and that it looked real. So there's a lot of preparation that goes into the stunts, but, you know, I think in the end, it made the game better.
I really had to count on the talent that I had working with me, and we had some tremendous stuntmen working with us down in San Diego. And then on the voice side, I mean, I couldn't ask for a more talented cast. And so again, I really just kind of told them where they needed to be on any given moment, and really just trusted their instincts and their talent to get the performances that really come across in our scenes.
We did a great job in this game of making a character who's very grounded. He has a wife, he has a family. We're telling a much deeper, much more involved story than we've done in the past.